Evening all. Stephen here, Beard. Happy Friday evening. I'm making a habit of that. That's going to be my trademark. But I'll change my username to the Choking Piper. Unless it's already been taken. I need this tonight. Been one of those weeks. Cheers everyone. Good health and happiness. And long life too. Now, it's gone out. I swear it's the humidity and not my ineptitude. Although it's a relatively low 63% tonight. Hope you're all well. This, my Bayard, is my first smoke of the latest incarnation Beard's Blend. I put a video up a couple of weeks ago about this and, well, mentioned this and what had gone into it and what I was adding to it that particular night. And it's been jarred for a couple of weeks and I thought I'd try a bowl. For those that don't remember or didn't see that video, it's basically, I couldn't list all the various percentages of the component tobaccos, but it's probably about 40–45% various burleys. Then the rest is a mixture, fairly even mixture with then Virginias and dark Virginia Cavendish. And probably about, I'm hoping I've got it down to about 10% Perique at the most, because it was a bit of a Perique bomb when I started way back a few months ago with the base tobacco. It's not bad, I've had worse. There's still a lot of Perique in there. It really... When Glyn Quelch was making the Burper cake that started all this off, he must have chucked a lot of Perique in here. Really strong, peppery stuff. But I don't think... I'll add anything else to it now. I think this is it. And... you know, I say it's not bad. It's still a bit too much, but we'll see what some aging can do. I can leave it for a month or so and then try it again. But yeah, it's not the worst tobacco I've ever had, so that's good enough for me. Cheers once again. Now then, I've had a new experience today. Something that I've seen various YTPC members mention, and also members of the UK Pipe and Tobacco Club that I belong to. Something that's never really appealed to me before, but a lot of people seem to mention it. Is snuff. Never tried it, got no knowledge of snuff whatsoever. My knowledge of it was basically, I knew it was made of tobacco and you stuck it up your nose. I didn't know why you would want to do that personally. It seemed a strange thing to do, but that was as far as I'd ever thought about it or gone into it. And probably my only experience of it is old comedy films where some bloke, usually in a powdered wig, would honk up a great big fistful of snuff and then sneeze in someone's face for comedy effect. I think that was about it. But I'd seen people mention it and obviously like it, and I'd been thinking about it, and then I saw a video from Leo Alderpold about a week or so ago, and he happened to mention that he really likes snuff, and that set me thinking of looking into it a bit more, and so I did, and found out various things, of course, that it's one of the, if not the quickest ways to get nicotine into your bloodstream, far quicker than a cigarette and presumably a pipe as well. I also found out that there's no proven serious health risk associated with nasal snuff, which surprised me. Found there's a huge variety that you can try. And what especially appealed to me as well, on top of all of that, that in the UK at least, it is incredibly cheap. Because the government don't charge duty on it. Unlike cigars, cigarettes, pipe tobacco, rolling tobacco, they don't charge it on snuff. It still has to carry the same health warnings, but there's no duty imposed, so you can pick the stuff up for pennies. That was a big attraction. So I thought I'd give it a go. And went online and found, obviously there's Sam Gawith do it, Gawith Hogarth do it, but the biggest company is, it's Wilson's of Sharrow, isn't it? Who have been making the stuff since the early 18th century. So I thought I'd go with them for a starter. And I got myself a little tin. I didn't want to go with anything too... I went down the middle of the road, like medium grind, medium moisture, medium nicotine. And I didn't want to go mentholated either. I thought I'd go for a fruit one. So I went for there. Apricot. And this is an old tin. It's not actually allowed to call it apricot anymore under the new licensing regulations. They call it Apri. So I got that. That was £1 for that tin. But they also sell other ones, different aromas, flavours, call it what you will, for as little as 49p. So not even $1, not even £1, not even $1. Incredibly cheap. And unless you're a really heavy user, it's going to last you for ages. And of course it also means that you can afford to stock up on a big variety. So I got it. And I had my first try this afternoon. I decided I wasn't going to try it on video tonight, in case anything went wrong and I had to waste the whole video because I ended up blowing something over the camera. So I had to go this afternoon, and it's just as well I did. For a start, it burned, which I think is probably usual for a first timer. Didn't last long, it only burned a little bit, not for very long. But then I sneezed and I sneezed and I sneezed. I mean, and I'd done my research beforehand, because if you just went by what like you'd seen in those old films that I mentioned, they would go at it like they were trying to sniff a ball bearing up their nose and into their sinuses, you know, like that. And of course, you're supposed to just, as you stuff takers will know, you're just supposed to keep it in your nose and just gently inhale and get it at the front of your nose and go through the nasal membrane. But I still sneezed. And as gentle as I tried to be, I think I still probably inhaled a bit too hard. and I ended up getting some irritation down the back of my throat. So what with the burning, the sneezing and the coughing, it wouldn't have made for a very enjoyable, well, not enjoyable for me, you might have had a laugh at my expense. But it's certainly interesting stuff. It really does sort of, and I can imagine if you get a strong one, especially a mentholated one, that must be quite an eye-opener. So I'm going to invest in some more. At that price, I can't go wrong. It's a bit sad that this first one I've bought, this apricot, I'm not that keen because the taste and the smell really does last, doesn't it? I mean, I took the first sniff, must be about 3 hours ago, and I can still smell it and still taste it. And unfortunately, it's not really a natural apricot taste or scent. It's more like a sweetened apricot yoghurt, a bit gloopy. And once it's in there, you can't really get it out again. So, yeah, I'll look around for some others. Probably tend towards the spice or chocolate or vanilla, something like that. Getting the cheap ones at 50p a go, I can buy as much as I want. Excuse me a second. But I'd be interested to just from any fellow snuffers out there. I mean, I know this is the YTPC. The glue must be wearing off, they're slipping again. I know this is the YTPC, but it's all tobacco, isn't it? So if it's not breaking any unwritten rules, if there's any fellow snuffers out there watching, particularly UK snuffers, but anyone that knows of anything that I can get in the UK that they would recommend, I'll be interested to hear about it. This is getting better the further I go down the bowl. Probably as I'm tamping it, I might have had it a bit loose to start off with. Still a lot of Perique, but yeah, not bad at all. So there we have it. Beerbeard's blend. Not a total disaster. Maybe better in future. I bought myself another jar today because at the moment I keep all my tobaccos in the plastic pouches they arrive in, which is not ideal. Even then they're inside a plastic box, but I bought myself another one of these Kellner jars with the seal. And when I was buying the snuff, I bought myself another 50 grams of Germain's Rich Dark Flake, the Stonehaven equivalent. And I'm thinking about jarring that and leaving it. See what it's like, because basically I smoke what I buy. This is the closest I've come, this blend here is the closest I've come to actually keeping something and aging it. So it would be interesting to try and sort of put some away and leave it. Because I've certainly heard good things about vintage, or aged, not vintage, but aged Stonehaven, so maybe it works for the Rich Dark Flake as well. Although I liked it when I had it last time, which was just fresh out of the pouch. I might take one flake out and try it and then store the rest for a month or so, a few months, and then try it again. Anyway, I'm waffling on here, as usual. Oh, something I was going to say about snuff, because this amazed me. Some people might already know this. I'll read this out, I've got Wiki open. A floral scented snuff called English Rose is provided for members of the British House of Commons, so members of Parliament here. And a famous silver communal snuff box was kept at the entrance of the House of Commons, but it was destroyed in an air raid during World War II. Damn you, Adolf! And a replacement was subsequently presented to the House by Winston Churchill, and it's still there to this day. Free snuff for MPs and members of staff, I understand, as well. Whether any of them do it or not, I don't know. You certainly don't hear any sneezing when you're watching. But I dare say they wouldn't keep putting it in unless people carried on using it. So there's an interesting thing. At taxpayers' expense, free snuff for members of Parliament. I'm sure it wouldn't happen in America or anywhere else come to that. Anyway, the boy's turned up. He's skulking around under the tripod. Want to come up here? Say hello to the ladies and gentlemen. Come on. He never bloody does it when he wants him to, does he? He wants a treat and he wants me to play with him. So, I better call it a day. I'm going to go away, finish the rest of my pipe, have some more beer, and maybe have a pinch more snuff. I'm living the dream. I might put another one up tomorrow night if I can think of anything to talk about. I'm scratching around for ideas at the moment. But anyway, cheers for tuning in, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye bye all.